back to Cinema Cult Network. This week we are continuing October Scarefest. I'm Chris.
I'm Matt.
And I'm Honto.
And this episode we're talking about Friday the 13th Part 6 is Jason Lives from 1986. I'm going to say it right now, it's the best slasher horror movie.
Slasher movie?
We kind of established, this is me and Chris's favorite slasher 1980 slasher film of all time.
It might be my favorite slasher film of all
Really?
time. I don't like a lot of slashers. I like the cheesy, fun ones.
Yeah.
This might be my favorite. Does anybody if we not talking about decades or anything, what would be your favorite slasher? Just off the top of your head.
Did we kind of do that for our TV episode?
That's what you just said, but we did 80s.
Yeah, but okay, really quick, I got to call you out for this.
What?
All right, you're saying this is better than Scream?
Nope. I just thought about it. As soon as you looked at me, I knew you were going to bring up Scream.
Town.
Yeah. Scream is 1 and then Jason 6.
I would either say this or My Bloody Valentine.
You really like that movie, don't you?
That was a pretty good watch.
Yeah, my fiance asked me a question this week too, and I thought it was kind of a cool one. I wanted to bring up to you guys in the podcast because it has to do with this. And she said, what horror movies would you show to somebody that hasn't seen horror movies before?
Ooh, man, you're going to get started talking for 20 minutes.
Yeah, but I brought up this one. I was like, yeah, this would be a cool one because they'd be like, hey, these are, this is fun slasher films.
Yeah.
It's not too scary. It's not too violent.
I think this is probably the most fun out of the bunch, right?
I would say, yeah.
Okay, so I'm not saying it's as good as, but I feel like Jason X has that fun mentality.
What?
I wouldn't.
See, yeah, you didn't even let me finish. It has that.
That's like a fan film over there.
You done?
Yeah, I am.
It has Jason X has that let's tongue in cheek mentality.
Oh,
Yeah.
So it's fun on that level, whether you like it or not. It's still got that same.
I would say if I would had somebody watch a Friday the 13th movie, I would either pick this or 4.
Which one is 4? Is that the one?
Corey Feldman.
Corey Feldman, yeah. I actually like that one.
Yeah, I like the 4th one a lot.
4 would be my second.
Yeah.
But no, I said the number one movie I'd probably show somebody who had never seen horror movies, would probably be Shaun of the Dead.
Oh, horror movie or slasher?
Horror films.
Oh, horror films. Gotcha.
Yeah, never seen any horror. Because that's what she asked me. She is what horror movies would you show somebody who's never seen horror movies?
Because that's modern enough where somebody's not going to get tired with the aesthetic of an old. Old
it's
movie.
not, and it balances
It has
scary
fun.
and comedy.
It has fun, and then it also gets serious at times.
Yeah,
which is nice.
I feel like Sean would be a good second. Okay, so someone I dated, I showed them a bunch of cabin movies, and I showed them Cabin Fever and Friday the 13th. And then the third one I showed them was Cabin in the Woods.
Okay.
Because I was like, all right, they're going to think it's the same thing. Get ready for the twist.
Yeah.
And I feel like Shaun of the Dead would be that same way where you're like, all right, show them Dawn or show them Day or whatever. And then
stuff.
go with Shaun and then be like, oh, cool. What a cool twist on the genre.
Yeah, I would probably show somebody Army of Darkness before I would show them Evil Dead.
I think I watched Army of Darkness first before.
I think we all did.
Yeah.
I think we talked about
I think
this,
most people did.
Yeah, we all watched them in reverse.
I watched it. Yeah, I think I watched it 3, 2, 1.
Yeah.
Because I was like, I don't know.
We couldn't, because Chris was hunting down 1. He couldn't
Yeah.
find 1 anywhere.
So Darkness came out, and then 1 and 2 I think were out of print at the time when I was a kid.
Yeah.
And then I finally found 2, and then a year later, Walmart or somebody put back out the first one and reprinted it.
Yeah.
So
Because I remember one of the video stores back in the day had the first 2. I just for some reason watched 2 before 1.
okay,
So I don't really know.
dude, those are some of my favorite days. Of
Yeah.
Grandma taking
Actually,
me. Oh, you tell your story first.
Evil
Go
Dead
ahead.
2 and Sleepaway Camp were a double feature I watched in the 6th grade.
Really?
Yeah.
With anybody or by yourself?
With, I think, a buddy of mine from
Okay.
middle school.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Gerald Gardner.
Yeah, Gerald Gardner. There you go. Yeah, you knew it. You nailed
Heavyweights?
it. Nailed it.
No, I think it's just, because you wouldn't want to show that person.
I didn't get to tell my story.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Some of my favorite days are when my grandma used to take me to Suncoast.
Yeah.
And I would just because the horror section,
It was in a private area.
kind of, yeah, sort of. And I remember it was
Back at the store.
I'll
Yeah.
never forget. I had all the nightmares laid out, and I was trying to figure out which one I was going to get that day. And I remember some guy behind me going, "Oh my god, they made 5 or 6 of those, blah blah." And I always thought it was weird because now,
shut up, Grandpa.
I always found it weird because now there is 7 and 8 of everything, so
Yeah.
it's the norm. But back then, they're like, you made more than one? I'm like, man, they're really cashing in on that.
Yeah, I'm sure that guy went right for the James Bond movies. You know what I mean? I don't know, just like they made 8 of those.
What a nerd.
And he's like, ooh, the new James Bond movie.
Ooh,
Like,
Jamie.
number 19.
But no, dude, those are some of my favorite days. And I used to have this really nitpicky thing where I'd look at VHS tapes and I would see if they were, man, it's been so long since I've done this, but there was SP, LP, and EP tapes.
Oh, I don't even know this.
Okay, so...
Oh, this
you,
the long play or whatever.
I don't know this either.
Okay, so you have... I'm totally going to burn this, but you have an EP, which is extended play, long play, and slow play.
Yeah.
And if I remember correctly, slow play was a 2-hour tape, and then there was a 4-hour tape, and there was a 6-hour tape.
Right.
And if the movie that came out was on a long play, that means that it was stretched out and it wasn't, or it was something that was compressed.
Okay.
So you wanted it on the best quality video. So I would try to
Oh,
find
wow.
Because if it was on like the shorter one, then it means like if it was extended
something
duration,
like that.
then
I cannot
yeah.
remember
I know
the
you're-
Quality. It's basically like SD and HD.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or it was kind of like, yeah. So like they would either stretch it out over the 6
720
hours.
and 1080.
And so I used to go through all these VHS. I'm like, nope, that's not this. I need SP or EP or whatever. And
Yeah.
like I was so particular about it. It was really weird.
That's really cool though that you knew that. Because I've never known that before, that they actually put, like, I knew you could buy movies and record to them that
Yeah,
way,
that-
but I didn't know they actually put movies on tapes that way.
Yeah. And then with those VHS tapes too, so say like you did buy one that was EP, which I think was the longest.
That's
I
probably
can't
the
remember.
longest, yeah.
So you got 6 hours on that tape. You could put a piece of tape over the square,
Yeah.
and then record and make it a blank tape. And
And that was it. That's how you could.
that's how you go buy a $20 VHS.
Yeah.
I'm like, I got a free blank tape, and you really didn't.
Dude, speaking of VHSs, I've been like obsessed with the Universal Monster VHSs because I had about like
You told me about this.
I think I had, like-
what was your idea that you wanted to do with all these?
I had 8 of them when I was a kid.
Yeah.
And I got rid of them obviously because
VHS.
DVDs came over and
They wanted to hang out.
yeah, I was like, sorry guys, making room for the DVDs. But like they have like these like awesome spines and cover art on these VHS
Yeah.
Universal Monster tapes.
They like
and-
spell out like monsters. Or
Yeah, it
something.
says loser.
Oh, loser. Waste of money.
You've collected them all. No refunds. That's what it spells out. I got real quiet. We're like,
That's horrible. Keep going.
no, and I've always wanted to like if I could like hunt them down and collect them and put them on display.
Check eBay out, man.
But it would be I'd buy it and I'd be like I feel like I've wasted my money.
yeah, that's true.
Why do I have these on tape? Why did I do this to myself?
It would be cool though, and I'm sure you could find them for pretty cheap. I would imagine.
Yeah, you'd be surprised.
What, that they were more expensive than I think they are?
Yeah.
Have you looked them up?
Hanto, you got a computer in front of you. Look up Universal Monster VHS is on eBay.
Well, while he's doing that, go ahead and tell us the story real quick.
Okay, so anyways, so with this we're gonna talk about this surrogate, this fake person that we're gonna show horror movies to that's never seen horror movies before. You don't want to show them anything too scary, because you don't want to show them like
No. I made the mistake of someone I dated. I showed him Creepshow too early. And Creepshow is like a very specific taste.
yeah.
Because it's not your average horror movie. It's very comic booky. So it's not like, hey, check this out. So I would not recommend that again.
Yeah, like you don't want to show them Blair Witch Project because like Blair
Why?
Witch Project is like a 10 for me.
You love that movie.
I really
man.
do like
It's
that
a great
movie.
movie.
I'm going to rewatch this for the Halloween season.
It's
I haven't seen it in
solid.
a long time.
Go back. That's the newer ones.
Oh, I don't know. I'm not asphyxiated.
Hey, you'll know it. It's like cooler looking, like that Dracula one right there.
Right here.
Yeah. How much does that go for?
$2.
Oh man. See.
Oh, man. You totally...
Yeah, but
It's screaming
okay.
your name.
See the collection.
Matt, buy me right now.
See the collection right there. To the right.
Right here.
Yeah.
45.
Okay, 45 is a
There's
little pricey.
18 movies though.
18 movies for $45. I think that's a pretty good deal.
Plus like 11, or I guess you can buy it now for 60, but it's the whole bidding system.
Yeah. That's
I
all.
don't-
But
I
that's
don't
not
think
even.
it's
That's not
price.
even all of them.
There's currently 0 bids because I don't think anyone's looking for those movies right now.
No, because nobody wants to pay $45 for videotapes.
So while you were looking that up, I looked up the difference between SPLP
I also
and EP.
looked it up too.
So SP is
I
the
need to bring my computer to the podcast.
SP was the good quality, and that was a 2-hour tape. And then LP was 4, and EP was 6. And I remember buying Nightmare on Elm Street on EP, and I was like, oh man, they only have Nightmare on Elm Street 4 on EP. It's bad quality. And I remember going up to like the clerk and I'm like, do you have this in SP? And they're like, what are you talking about? And so
Usually that's the worst one out of the bunch.
why would you want a good quality of that? Actually, that's Matt's favorite. The fourth one.
So did you have? Yeah, it is actually the Rennie Harlan one.
Yeah,
It's pretty all right.
Yeah, it's my favorite Nightmare.
it's pretty all right.
Yeah, I just watched them recently.
I like 3. I think it's because I've seen 1 too many times. I like 3
awesome.
a lot, but 4 is like really. I think I like 4 now. Like
I need to rewatch it. I watched about a year ago and it was okay.
4 is actually where they kind of like do the continuation for the first time. Of
Yeah.
The
Yeah,
characters.
3,
Kill
4, and
everybody off.
5 are back to back to back.
Yeah.
So 3, 4, and 5 are kind of like Friday the 13th. 4, 5, and 6.
This is
So
like
that's-
this is
so
like the
that-
Halloween version of like how to watch these movies. It's like
Well,
if
why
you
don't-
want this
yeah.
universe of characters, you got to watch.
It pretty much, yeah. It kind
Why
of
don't we
5.
segue then? Why don't we segue into Friday the 13th and talk about where this movie lands in the timeline of Friday the 13th?
timeline.
All right.
I kind of looked it up.
So-
Did you? I got
but you can.
I got the year it takes place.
Okay.
All right,
This movie.
before we get into that, a couple things. I already said it before. This is from 1986 with a budget of...
Wait. Before we get into it, let's just
Oh.
get into it. That was a segue. We can't segue
into
out of
movie?
the
A
segue.
segue into the movie?
No, we're going to segue into talking about the movie right here. So this movie takes place...
Well, I gotta give you my facts.
No, that doesn't... That makes...
We have global box office.
Yeah, we got
receipts
cast and
and
that
crew,
total...
and
So
then,
we were going
yeah,
to go...
got cast and
I know why Matt's doing this. Matt's
What?
hungry.
and
No,
he's
I know,
at
but
the
you're
end
like...
of the
You
movie.
literally just
Matt's
jumped
hungry.
over the topic to be like, well, I want to talk about budgets instead.
Well, that's how we segue. We segue by talking
You
about budgets.
segued out of my segue.
Oh, okay. Well, so there was a budget of $3 million.
Get to your timeline.
How much did this make in the U.S.?
This made like probably 56 million.
Okay.
I looked this up.
You did?
Yeah.
You cheated?
No, it popped up on the trivia.
Okay, well, what is it then?
How much was the budget?
$3 million?
I mean, you shouldn't have to ask. You already know it.
It's
Yeah.
okay. I think it only made like 19,
Okay. It made $20 million.
okay.
but it's like the lowest. It's the lowest.
I remember we talked about.
It's the decline of the Friday 13th.
We talked about box office in our like third episode of this entire show for Jason Takes Manhattan.
That's right,
We talked about how every single movie had a small budget, but they always made a
Their profit,
huge
yeah.
profit off of these movies.
Yeah, like they made a lot on this, but this is at this point, this was like the lowest profit for a Friday
Yeah,
13th movie.
yeah.
Well-
so this is considered the decline of the Friday
decline,
13th
yeah.
movies.
What do you guys think this has
Which
on,
is surprising.
on Rotten Tomatoes?
42.
52.
It's 52.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Whoa.
Frick, man. Dude, I hate this game.
Quick draw.
Did you look it up?
No, I did
I
not.
don't know. That's pretty close. I'm calling bullshit on this
I
one.
swear to God, I did not.
You can't do this every week in a row, dude.
nailing the
Every
The
week
nails?
in a row.
Yeah,
nails,
every
nails.
week in a row, you're right
Hammering
there.
the nails
it's like
in.
the exact number.
Well, get good, dude.
I think 52
my-
is pretty
it's my only
accurate.
advice.
I think 52 is a good...
Because this is like not. It's not terrible,
It's a lot of fun, though.
but it has fun.
Yeah.
And so there's like the positives and negatives, and it outweighs, and it gets to that 50%
You know,
range.
okay.
I
never mind. was about to
maybe
go
give
down
it...
a-
I would honestly, if
avenue
I
again.
had to give it another percentage on Rotten Tomatoes, like 65.
Because I would say probably, what is it, New Beginning, the one with Roy?
The one right before this.
Yeah, I would say that's probably like 30%, 35% or 40%.
See,
That
but
one
this
is
is what we
lower.
talked about a couple episodes ago. You would not give this a 65
Why?
because you just said it's one of the best slasher films of all time.
Yeah.
So, yeah, but that means you're giving it
It's like
grading that you're basing your grade off what other people would think of it.
No, you're just
There's not
guessing,
a lot
you're just
of-
guessing the consensus.
yeah.
You're
There's not a lot
no,
of
I know,
good-
but I thought you were saying you would give it a 65.
I did.
So then it's a fail.
No, it's not a fail. Okay,
It's
so
a failing
there's
grade
not
for you. This is a bad movie.
It's kind of like saying Ernest Slam Dunk is the best Ernest movie. And I'm like, oh, great. What do you give it? And I'm like, a 19%. And you're like, well, that's bad. I'm like, well, it's still the best Ernest movie. You know what I mean? Like, I'm still...
Yeah, but you're at
Slasher
least-
movies to me, aren't very good. I don't like a lot of slasher movies. This is my second favorite,
Oh.
so I'm giving it a 65%. And
Yeah.
Ernest Slam Dunk is not
So
my
what does
favorite.
Scream get?
Scream? I'd give Scream like a 95.
Yeah.
But just for
Refer to
record,
our previous episode on
Yeah.
Scream if you want to know more information.
and refer to next week's episode
Ernest
for
Slams
Oh.
Dunk.
Ernest Slams Dunk. By the way,
Or
never
1
saw it.
hour from now.
I've never seen Ernest Slams Dunk. By the way, I've seen
Oh, I've never
It's all
seen
right.
it. I've only seen
It's all right.
Camp, Jail, Stupid,
Christmas?
Christmas. Yeah,
and
there's
Christmas.
4.
Yeah.
And then there's Africa,
Yeah, it was Africa, and then
Camp. Oh, I've seen Camp.
I saw Camp too. He gets
Camp's not
massive
very
amounts
good.
of poison ivy at one point.
I don't remember really
Camp
liking it.
confuses me with Meatballs. Because I think the cover for Meatballs...
You mean like the food meatballs?
Yeah. Do I eat it or watch it?
Ernest Rides Again and Ernest in the Army are also other movies.
But the cover for Ernest Goes to Camp looks like the cover for Meatballs.
No, it looks like Camp Nowhere.
No, the cover for it does look. It's like Ernest turning around, looking at the camera, right?
Wow, you just accurately described the cover of this movie.
Well, yeah, that was weird.
Just like pulled it up and it's like exactly what you just.
The way we were looking at it, and then like Chris describing it was like, I don't know, a bunch of squiggly lines.
Yeah, there's like a sign with cartoon lettering that says Ernest Camp Goes to Camp, and then there's people hanging off of it.
Yeah, it looks like Meatballs.
Yeah.
It does.
It looks like Meatballs.
The food.
The food.
The cover of this movie looks like the food.
All right, let's talk about Jason Lives.
All right, tell me about the cast and crew real quick. If there's anything notable. Who is the director of this?
Thom McLoughlin. And he did. The only one I know he did is Sometimes They Come Back, the TV.
Oh, I didn't know he did that.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
And then you have basically the star of the movie is Tom Mathews, who plays Tommy Jarvis. And we've seen him previously in Return of the Living Dead 1 and 2, in which he plays two different characters.
Yep.
And then he, I think we talked about this in the previous Dark House episode, but he was in the fan film, The Never Hikes Alone, for Friday the 13th.
Yep.
And he's slated to reprise his role as Tommy Jarvis in sequels to that fan film.
Very good.
I think they're planning 2 more films, which I am down because that fan film is awesome.
Yeah.
Okay.
That really got me excited for like fan films.
It's like a 15-minute movie and it flies by.
Yeah. It's
wild.
a really cool concept, and considering we're not going to get, we bring this up every time we talk about Jason.
Yeah.
But we're not going to get another Jason movie. Like,
there's so much legal battles
a long time
happening right now, and
yeah, they're like starting to pull like toys and stuff off the shelves.
Really?
Like, I know NECA, who
they
produces
put like the horror toys and stuff.
Yeah, they produce a lot of Friday 13th toys, and they've had to cancel a lot of their toys because
Man, what a bummer.
the whole rights issue is a mess right now.
Yeah. They need to figure that out. But
he was in something else, wasn't he? I feel like he had 3 horror movies he was known for.
I can't. Yeah.
Well, go ahead and keep going. Keep going.
You have Jennifer Cooke, who plays Megan, who's like basically like the love interest. And the only thing I know that she was in was a TV show or a sci-fi show called V, which is like about an alien invasion.
Yeah,
It was from the 80s, and they remade
Was
it.
she a main character?
I think so. But they remade that show later on ABC back in like 2009.
I like her a lot in this.
Yeah, she was pretty good.
She's one of my favorites of the Friday the 13th girls.
Yeah,
I mean, she's the one with like probably the most personality.
She's charming. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
really
she's
like
my
her.
second favorite Final Girl because my first
I think
is
the one from 2 is pretty good.
that's my first.
Yeah.
Yeah, the one from 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like her a lot.
Because she's in the boat at the end, and then shows Jason like looking at the window and then chasing after her.
That's the third one.
Is it the third one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Where she's on the boat at the end.
Yeah. I mean, they do it so many times in these movies.
Yeah,
but-
wait. And then what happens at the end of the second one?
Of 2, it's when Jason pops to the window.
Oh, yeah. He jumps through the window at her at the end of 2.
Gotcha. Okay.
Actually, I was watching that House 2 the other day, and the main girl in House 2 is it Tina, the psychic? From
it's the next movie, right?
After this, yes.
Yeah.
So I thought that was kind of weird. Keep going. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Oh, it's all
keep
good.
going. Keep going.
I got David Kagen, who plays the dad of Megan, the sheriff.
I like him.
He looks like John Carpenter.
He does.
He kind of looks like he's just like kept thinking John
Yeah, he
Carpenter
does.
the entire time. I think it's the way his hair, the long like hair is, and he's got that big thick mustache.
I feel like the receding hairline.
Yeah. Other than that, I don't recognize anyone. Oh, and probably the biggest star who came out of this, Tony Goldwyn.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, totally.
His premiere movie.
Yeah, this is what got him Ghost, basically.
This was his audition too.
Yeah.
Dude, I've been wanting to do Ghost for this podcast for so long.
Yeah,
I feel
let's do
like
it.
Ghost would be such a solid
Oh,
episode.
and then I will mention that you have C.J. Graham, who plays Jason, and then there was actually, which I'm sure Matt will dive more into, but there was actually a second person that portrayed Jason in this movie, but most of his stuff got cut.
Yeah. The only time, I
And
think
his name
the
is
only
Dan
chunk
Bradley.
that's in the movie that the original casting for Jason is in it is the scene with the paintball guns.
Okay.
Yeah, I kept seeing stuff on IMDb. They kept calling him like fat. Like,
Oh, really?
yeah, he got fired because he was like
Got
too
fat
like-
shamed?
yeah, well, because like he showed up, I guess he like gained too much weight, and they're like, yeah,
the
we
one
gotta,
that's at the paintball thing?
paintball, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but you're telling me that they're going to fire him because of that, and then they got the guy that plays, was it Kane Hodder and Goes to Hell?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's like definitely overweight in that movie.
Yeah, well, like I know, but it was IMDb facts too. Where, like at one point, one of the IMDb facts says They called him bitch tits on the set.
Oh my!
I was like, no, they didn't.
That's
I was
awful.
like, that's an IMDb fact for
That's
you.
possible. That's horrible.
No,
I
it's not
think I feel like.
possible.
Did you say it's not possible?
It's not humanly possible to say those words back to back.
Yeah. Anyway,
it wouldn't have gotten approved on IMDb.
I feel like a thicker Jason looks better.
Oh yeah, basically like a strong man.
Yeah,
That's more terrifying.
I feel like you want
But
that.
I guess he was like I said, there's all these IMDb facts that were kind of dispersed,
Yeah.
and it was like that where I was like, he showed up and he was overweight, so they had to let him go and have CJ. What's CJ? What?
CJ Graham is the one that plays him like throughout the entire movie.
Yeah. So but I don't know how much of that's true. You know how IMDb.
I don't.
Goes.
You guys think that's how it
You
goes.
know how it plays out.
So let's go ahead and get started into the movie. Okay, I do want to say something real quick, and then we'll get started into the movie. So Friday the 13th 5 is the previous chapter in the series. And it's weird because I don't think all three of us really like Part 5, but I feel like Part 5 is a pretty good staple for what the series is.
Is 5 is...
5 is the Roy one.
Okay.
But
I will say I like the... just about the only thing I like from that movie is the techno girl dancing.
oh yeah,
That song is catchy as hell.
I forgot about that. But like I feel
Did
like
you ever see how she dies?
She just gets picked up, right?
Yeah, but she gets stabbed like
In
the crotch.
Oh, what?
Yeah, I have a Jason book and it has a
Like a screen grab or something?
yeah, it's like a behind the scenes photo.
Yeah.
And it's that girl and she's kind of hanging out in the chair and she's got blood all over her
Wow.
crotch.
It's pretty
That's how
raunchy.
she gets killed.
That's kind of like what they did.
She makes the face too when she gets stabbed.
Oh, like cross-eyed, like...
Like,
"Oi."
yeah, like
yep,
pieces.
because that's how you would respond. Oy! But do you agree with what I'm saying about 5 though? Is 5 as far as 5 is like I feel like 5 is a pretty good representation of the series because of there's just like it's essentially just a bunch like here's a bunch of kills
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
Yeah, 5 is where it was like
Let's introduce the townsfolk and go off on these little side journeys for these characters.
5's so rough to watch.
I have like a love-hate relationship with it. I don't really like it, but then
Yeah.
I want to watch it sometimes. It's really weird.
I find it more entertaining than 1.
I like 1 a lot.
I'm not a huge fan of 1, man.
know.
Like
One's kind of a boring movie.
It
But,
is.
you can't have any of these other movies
kinda
without
slow.
it. So
That's true.
And it makes sense. I feel like it's kind of a cool concept where Jason was like watching. I don't know if they really... I know they do that in the remake where it's like he was watching his mom die. That's why he goes crazy.
That's right. Yeah.
Like, I can't remember if that's what happens in 2 where he's like... Now it's like a revenge movie for him.
In the remake or this?
In like the original 2. If
Oh, the
that's why
original,
he starts like... Comes out of the woodworks, basically.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, because he sees his mom get killed, so that's why he comes back.
Yeah.
'Cause it's such a weird plot. It's
He
like
dies.
Jason dies, so his mom gets revenge for his death. Then his mom dies, and he comes back to revenge her death. Like, it's such a weird...
I do. I hate the because they talk about it in 2, and it's like him hanging out on the side of the lake, and he's like that's
He's
the whole
watching.
thing is he watches
Because they do
the mom
it.
die.
They actually show it in the remake for the 2009 remake where it shows him like watching Pamela Voorhees get her head chopped off.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, it's like him, and then I guess it's like maybe he never died or something.
That's-
Dude, I don't
with the
remake. I don't
he
remember
doesn't
that. And I
die.
just watched it.
It's weird because the remake is actually kind of like a mix up between multiple movies and then goes
Yeah.
off to its own thing.
I remember doing it because I remember that being the cool thing is like, all right, it's another origin story, but
Yeah.
that one is kind of like a mix of 1, 2, and 3, which is pretty neat because it's like the mask.
Yeah,
Voorhees dying.
because he has the
bag.
He has like
or
the burlap sack and then gets
so it
smashed.
kind of like has like chapters of these previous ones, which is
Yeah.
pretty neat.
Yeah.
Not a bad remake.
I like the remake. I haven't watched it in a while, but
You know what? I like the running Jason. Like
Me
seeing
too.
him full speed running, like sprinting.
Kind of terrifying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that one of the, and I feel like some people don't like it, but I think the best part about the remake is the when the guy gets stabbed, or not stabbed, but he gets the axe at the back,
Yeah.
and then like they're like, wait, Jason's using him as bait. Like,
Yeah.
I think it's a pretty cool.
He's like
scene.
screaming in the background. He's like, "Don't do it." He's leaving for bait.
All right, so let's talk about Jason Lives. So the film starts off, we got Tommy Jarvis, who's played by a third actor, different than the previous two. And I guess he's broken out of the institution. Is that the plot?
Yeah, 'cause it's already him with his roommate at the asylum.
Which, if they're in an insane asylum, they both seem pretty normal to me.
yeah,
I would assume insane asylums are like, I don't know nothing about it.
like
but
in chapter 2,
yeah,
hanging
but-
off the windows.
Exactly, but these guys seem pretty normal. And they're heading to basically go to Jason's grave because Tommy wants to dig it up
He wants to see it to the very end.
So what do you mean? I don't know. This isn't very normal behavior.
Tommy Jarvis at this point knows that Jason is a
real thing.
And
as an audience, we know it's real, so we know he's a normal guy.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I guess it's. But you know what? Then maybe we're crazy.
What?
What are you talking about?
Like he's like, dude. Honestly, here's the thing. He is 100% responsible for all the deaths that happen.
Basically, all the events.
yeah.
All the events that follow from here all the way through Jason X.
Because at this point, Jason has been dead for how many years?
It's supposed to be 8 years or 4 years.
I think so. 4 years.
4 years.
This movie takes place in 1990, by the way.
Yeah.
Really? For sure? Mm-hmm. Are you just basing it on a timeline for how old he is in this?
Because I think in the timeline is that he was born in 1970, Tommy Jarvis.
Well, yeah, I guess for how old he is.
This guy's supposed to be like 18 years old, by the way.
And you can figure this out because...
Wait, Tommy's supposed to be 18 in this?
I'm pretty sure.
Really? Okay.
Maybe 20.
He looks like he's 40 in the previous one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. So...
God, I can't remember the timeline, but I think, what is it, part 2 takes place like a week or two after 1.
Oh, yeah. We have discussed
We
this
talked about
before.
how like the first 3 movies are like in the same span, or it's just him jumping from like other portions.
It's like it's like days and weekends.
Yeah.
Or days and weeks later.
Jason works weekends at the camp.
Yeah. And then the biggest time gap is 4 to 5.
Where it's
because
like they
Jarvis's
jumping years
order.
and stuff.
And then this one, I think, is just like another, like, I think it's like a year later.
Really?
After
so
5.
weird.
I want to say that because he's like roughly the same age. He's in his 20s.
Okay. This is
Right?
so 1990, you said?
Is he a teenager?
So,
Is Tommy
19
Jarvis a teenager
So
in part 4?
1970.
4?
Yeah.
How old
is Tommy Jarvis in part 4?
No, he's not a teenager. He's probably like...
No, I mean...
Well, 1972 is... I'm looking at the timeline right now. 1972 is when Tommy Jarvis is born. And then when you jump to 4, which is the final chapter, right?
Yep.
That takes place in 1984.
Okay.
So he's like 14 or 12 years old at this point.
Okay.
And then...
so he would be 20... Or no, he would be...
He'd be 12.
In 1990?
Oh, no, I'm sorry. We're talking about the...
Yeah.
Part 4, whatever. Because New Beginning is part 5, and that takes place in 1989. So he'd be 17 years old in that movie.
Okay.
Meaning that in 1990, when this movie takes place, apparently, he would be 18 years old.
Okay.
So Tommy Jarvis, who looks
That
like
can't
he's
be right.
30 years old.
He does look a little older.
Hold on, that timeline might be messed up.
I'm looking at the freaking Wikipedia page.
Well, like, I know, but what is the gap
I'm looking
between...
at FridayThe13th.fandom.com.
Yeah, but Friday the 13th 4 doesn't take place in 1984.
4 takes place in 1984.
Does it?
Yeah.
I don't think it does. I think it takes
I've ever
place like a
said-
couple years... It's either because there's a gap. It's like... What's the gap between 3 and 4 is like the next... It's like the next day. Because there's a gap... What's the gap between 1 and 2?
All right, I'm going to list the timeline according to this other website, which is Friday the 13th timeline fully explained. This is the years they have. So Friday the 13th is supposed to take place in 1979. Part 2 takes place in 1984. And then part 3 is basically 1984 as well. I think that's where the days and the weekends come
2,
to place.
3, and 4 are back to back to back.
Yeah, so I think it's Friday the 13th, 1984. The final chapter, which is the Tommy Jarvis introduction, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
That says Monday, July 16th, 1984. So it's shortly after.
Okay, so I was wrong. Never mind. I thought it was week. Honestly, I didn't realize there's the gap between 1 and 2.
Yeah.
Is that significant? But I guess it is.
New Beginning apparently takes place in 1989, so 5 years after the previous one. This is where now you got Roy, Tommy Jarvis.
Yep.
And then Jason Lives, it says Friday the 13th, 1990.
Oh, wow.
So it's like he's 18 years old at this point.
Okay.
The New Blood one, the one with the teleconnected girl, New Blood, is apparently supposed to take place in 2000.
What?
The year,
really?
The year 2000.
I remember hearing this, but why?
Wow, because
I think just
gap a year.
How do you know
They probably mentioned like, 5 years ago, Tommy Jarvis, blah blah blah.
No, it was probably 10 years.
Well,
10
I mean,
years,
I'm
yeah.
just saying, like hypothetically, like 15 years, or they probably did the math.
Yeah.
Figured out it take place in 2000.
That's so weird.
So Friday the 13th Part 8, Jason Takes Manhattan, which we covered previously.
Yeah.
Which I didn't know this. It apparently takes place in either spring of 2001, 2002, or 2003.
I don't think we ever talked about that, did we?
No.
Because we never went in depth on the years.
We'll keep going with the. Is there anything past that timeline?
Well, Jason Goes to Hell, the final Friday. There's no date. I think it's just to be determined.
Which is weird because that's like the most 90s looking movie I've ever seen.
Yeah, I mean, they all look very specific.
Can I be honest with you, too? I feel like anything past 8
Is
doesn't
non-canon.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it doesn't count.
Because that's where they get rid of the Friday the 13th like name.
Well, they lost the rights.
They've lost the name, they've lost the rights, but they've also... That was Chris's dog.
That was the death grass.
Yeah,
or the death.
But you have Jason Goes to Hell, Jason X, and Freddy vs. Jason. So I think Freddy vs. Jason is canon.
Jason X is early 2000s in the beginning, and then jumps to 2455, and then Freddy vs. Jason apparently doesn't have a date. So
yeah,
I think the ones that are Final Friday, right? Is that still canon?
that's
still Paramount.
That's next Friday.
With Ice Cube and Mathews.
You're thinking of the Friday after next.
Oh yeah. That's the Christmas version. But yeah, I think those 3 movies, right? Jason Goes to Hell isn't really considered canon, or
No, I think it is.
because that's where they introduced Freddy Krueger, and then
Well, all of a sudden Freddy Krueger's in there, and then Evil Dead's in there.
That's right. Yeah,
Paramount got rid of the rights, or I don't know how. I don't know the
Creepshow's in
mess.
there.
Paramount loses the rights after 8, and then New Line Cinema gets Final Friday and Jason X.
Yeah,
And I can't remember if Paramount had the new one or not. But that's why they couldn't. That's why you can't use the name for those 2 is they can't use Friday the 13th.
Yeah, because now it gets into platinum dudes.
Maybe that was it.
I take it back. Creepshow's not in
I don't know
Jason X.
Yeah, I don't
there's
know
a,
what you're talking
there's a
What are you
bo-
talking about?
Okay, I was thinking of like.
Oh yeah, it is.
There's a crate,
box.
right?
Yeah, it's the crate.
Okay, but is it the I'm thinking of
Yeah,
the Antarctica crate from
it's supposed to be Creepshow, yeah.
It's supposed to be the thing.
Yeah. No,
Is that right?
I don't know, dude.
I know it's
We're
weird.
talking
Now
about,
I'm
we're talking
lost
about,
in my,
we're talking about Jason
Easter
Lives.
egg.
Let's talk about Jason Lives.
Oh yeah, let's get back to that movie. So we got Tommy Jarvis and his buddy. They go to Jason's grave. They dig it up. It's filled with maggots, and
That's why he calls him, "Hey, maggot face."
he does say that. Yeah, you're right.
the very
Deep
end.
cut.
Oh
And
yeah, dude. He got
so
pissed.
during this, Tommy has a flashback of everything he went through, and he gets so upset that he stabs Jason with like an iron fence post.
It's part of the fencing for the cemetery.
And so he stabs Jason, and the minute he does, lightning strikes the
Frankenstein, basically.
pole, and he returns to life. But he's kind of pinned down to the ground too, so he can't really get up.
Yeah, but he's got the Jason strength, so he can easily get out.
Well,
of
no,
it.
I mean somebody else pulls up the Tommy Jarvis pulls out the fence.
Gotcha, yeah.
So while they're doing this, he tries to light the matches so he can set Jason aflame.
Yeah, you would bring a Zippo in this situation because you gotta plan ahead for this stuff. You can't just try to light matches in the rain. It's raining like it's like a tsunami over in Camp Crystal
Or
Lake.
put your hand over that flame.
Yeah, exactly.
But dude,
have your buddy create a little fort with his hands.
But dude, I couldn't stop thinking about that. Like, man, this whole movie is because of you.
Yeah.
Like, Jason's clearly dead.
He would have totally been dead forever if they didn't interact with him.
And it sucks. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. Why
I was
does
gonna say it sucks because you love Tommy as a character, but you're like, that's a pretty stupid. Well, he says it later on too. He's talking to somebody and he's like, "Look, I tried to blah blah blah." He's like, "I really screwed up." He's like, "This is my fault."
At least
he admits
fault.
to it. Yeah.
This is awesome. Okay, this is also, we didn't talk about this, but the first movie where Jason is considered a monster.
Yeah, this is where he's like officially come back to life. He's a zombie version now.
Yeah, everything else like up to this, he's been just like a psychopath.
Or it's like, he gets wounded or something, and then just somehow keeps coming back.
Yeah, this is because he dies in 4. Like he really dies in 4.
And that's where he gets hacked to death by Corey Feldman.
Die.
Die. 5 is of course
It's
Roy,
Nicolas Cage.
So
Die!
this is the first time he comes back, and he's actually he's a monster. He's a
Yeah.
monster.
It's so weird that it took to the 5th one for them to be like, "Hey, this guy can't die."
Yeah, why don't we just have this guy just be a monster?
Yeah,
Yeah.
you'd think they would have thought that
yeah.
earlier.
Okay.
way earlier. But this is kind of interesting in the script. it's hinted at that Jason's dad is the one who buries him in the cemetery.
Oh.
And that's why he has a gravestone.
Oh, cool.
Weird.
And I was like, I never really thought about it, but like,
Yeah.
like who did bury
Somebody
Jason?
paid money to have that name engraved on the tombstone.
Yeah, and to have
Weird.
him buried in a cemetery.
If I remember correctly,
That says
I
Jason
think
lives on
there's
it.
Does it really?
No. On the cover, it does.
On the beach. Yeah, the beach.
there is a novelization or something where they talk more in depth about the father. I can't remember if it was like a script or something.
There is
but-
actually. I was going to bring that up. One of the main Jason, like C.G. Graham, who plays Jason throughout the movie.
Yeah.
I guess they did another fan film called Vengeance. It's like Friday the 13th Vengeance or whatever. And he apparently plays Jason's dad in this movie.
Oh, cool.
In this like short.
Did we watch Vengeance?
No, I don't think so.
No. So yeah, so Tommy's trying to light these matches so he can set Jason aflame, and his buddy goes to help, but this is when Jason comes up from the ground and basically rips his buddy's heart out.
Well, he attempts to because I think Jason's coming back, and then he attempts to hit him with like a shovel or something.
Yeah, and then his buddy comes back to help him out,
Yeah.
like, hey, get away from him.
Yeah.
And then he has his heart ripped out, which is pretty brutal.
It's pretty crazy.
And then Tommy leaves, and as Tommy leaves, Jason puts his mask on, and then we get the whole James Bond intro.
Yeah, it totally
Yeah, this is awesome.
I was like, what the hell are they doing
Which
here?
I like because it's telling you, like, hey, this movie's going to be tongue-in-cheek.
Yeah.
And it's a cool setup.
Yeah.
I do enjoy this.
So this Jason is technically like the Roger Moore of the franchise.
Sure. So Tommy goes to the station where we start to meet a lot of the characters that are going to be throughout the movie. The sheriff doesn't like Tommy already. And the sheriff, we find out, is the father of...
Megan,
who's like the main... the main woman.
Yeah, the main girl.
And so Tommy comes to the station. Sheriff doesn't like him. He gets way too excited, and they're like, all right, buddy, you're going to jail.
Yeah, I mean, who hasn't been arrested for being too excited before?
Oh, what's your story? We'll listen. Go ahead.
I don't have one.
Okay.
Oh.
So
I was just saying sarcastically. A lot of people do get arrested in movies for like just being like
For something stupid?
overzealous.
Like Ghostbusters.
yes. Oh man, can we talk about that? They literally get arrested because they're
Thrown
like
to an insane asylum because they're in the
no.
restaurant.
Yeah, no. They get thrown. No. I'll back it up. I know. I got this. So in Ghostbusters 2,
Yeah.
the assistant to the mayor,
Right.
he throws him in the insane asylum
Yeah.
without the mayor knowing.
Gotcha.
Because he throws him in there just to get him out of the picture.
yeah,
Right,
but they
so-
literally arrest them in this restaurant for just being covered in slime.
Well, because it's like a nice restaurant and they're in PJs and they're...
Yeah, dude, really though, like it's
They're
kind
just-
of a hole in the story where it's
Nah,
like,
they're just
maybe
showing.
if
They're just making a point that the rich can throw the poor into insane asylums.
okay,
That's the
no.
bad-
way to look really deep into Ghostbusters too. I know, but like maybe if they like punched a maitre d, like yeah, okay, they're going.
Well,
to jail.
they're slinging all kinds of weird
Yeah.
substances all across
Yeah.
the restaurant. And you think it gets in the girl's hair? Or...
Dude, guys, don't defend it. It's stupid.
It's not
they literally get
stupid.
arrested for just showing up in a restaurant in their
No,
PJs.
they don't. Yeah, and they're covered in slime, and he throws the slime over the girl, and
Yeah.
you just said exactly what I just said.
yeah, I'm trying to defend you.
I know, it's
I'm on
not-
your
it's
side.
not-
You're doing a bad
It's,
job.
it's a plot.
Can I
It's
ask
a
you?
plot
Can I
hole.
ask
It's
you
a
guys a
plot hole.
really quick question, and we'll get back to the movie?
Yeah,
It's
okay.
not a plot hole
It
at all.
is. It's a plot hole because like
It's just rehashing the first.
they
events of the
literally
first
arrest.
movie.
Like what is the police force like in New York? All right, so
brutal.
well, no, I'm talking about in the Ghostbuster movies. The Ghostbusters literally save the day in the first movie, right? They're like, okay,
Yeah,
good job.
They
And then
pull-
by the beginning of the
they-
second movie,
they pull Transformers where everyone forgets that it happens.
yeah, by the second movie, they could care less.
Yeah.
They get arrested for showing up in their PJs.
Oh my-
in,
Dude, it's a fine dining restaurant.
Yeah, in a
They're
restaurant.
covered in slime.
Yeah, but I think
They're at an-
I'm pretty sure you just get like fined like a few $100s.
but the cops would still come. Yeah, the cops just apprehend them. But then the mayor's assistant is the one who's like, "We'll put you in a insane asylum."
Yeah, no, I'm not talking about them being put in a insane asylum. I'm talking about like them, ruining somebody's night at the Olive Garden, and they get arrested
dude,
for it.
that
All
would
right.
that would
And
totally
then
happen.
save for
Literally-
save for our episode.
Yeah,
on
but then
Ghostbusters 2.
literally
we'll talk
20
about
minutes later into this movie,
We'll talk
I'll
about
bring
it
it back.
later. Yeah, we'll
I'll
talk
go
about
to
it
full
later.
force.
Can I
But
ask you a real
20
question?
minutes into this movie, afterwards, the cops are all pro Ghostbusters. Like, yeah, can you guys get that slime off the library?
Yeah, because there's Jello all over it.
Yeah.
$1 million, please. And
Hey,
then I will.
So, just real quick, because I know we're going to cover the Ghostbusters movies during the new month when the new one comes out. We'll do it that month. Do you guys like 1 or 2 better?
1.
Would.
Okay. All right. So back to Jason Lives.
You've already brought it up. You think 2 is better than 1, and we disagree.
I think 1 is a better movie. I enjoy 2 more.
Okay, we'll save it for the podcast.
We're doing the podcast right now.
No, we're talking about Jason Lives. We're not talking about Ghostbusters.
Can I talk?
Yeah.
So we cut to Tony Goldwyn, best known for
The Last Samurai.
Is he in that?
Yeah, he is. He's like one of the main bad guys.
Oh, that's cool. He is probably best known for Ghost.
Yeah.
No, like he's best known for that.
He's got a new show out.
Scandal, right?
What?
Yeah, he does
Yeah,
Scandal.
that's like he's best known for. Scandal.
And he directed one of my favorite movies
of all time, The Last Kiss. Chris's favorite. You've heard it here, guys. First,
I like it. I think
his
it's a
favorite
really good
movie of all time, next to Ghostbusters 2.
So this guy and this girl, they're lost, and they're going through the woods, and all of a sudden, Jason pops out of nowhere, and Tony Goldwyn's like, you know what? We're gonna scare him. So he comes out, and he goes. Well, he tries to like run him over, but he doesn't move. And then Tony comes out of the car. Jason stabs the tire, and when Tony tries to shoot Jason, he ends up getting like stabbed.
I think he doesn't even get a shot off. He just gets distracted for a second and gets impaled by machete.
I was gonna say
machete.
No, I think he actually might still have the fence post.
Oh,
I think
that's totally what it is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And so he uses that to kill
Because
Tony.
he doesn't get the machete until the paintball game.
That's right. Yeah. So the girl that's with him crawls out of the car, and
Are you going to describe this entire scene?
do you want me to?
No. Like, why are you describing everything that happens in the scene? Is this pivotal?
Yeah, because I'm building up to something.
What do you? Okay, I'm sorry. I'm sorry to interrupt, man.
I'm building up.
I hope it does build up to something because like, you're really describing everything. Like, they went and had tacos that night for dinner.
Did they?
No, I don't know.
Oh.
Oh, you know what? This is the first time I've watched
He uses
this movie.
his right hand.
Are you done? Are
to
you
grab
done?
the gun? His left hand to turn the key off the ignition.
Back
Oh, wow.
and to the left. Back and to
Like-
the left.
A crime scene investigation of.
It's like Minority
this-
Report just swiping away.
Like-
Left, right.
So this is the first time I've watched this and realized that they're counselors.
Yep.
It's something I've
Oh,
never told
yeah.
out before.
Yeah, they get lost on the way.
Yeah.
Just like in the first movie. The first movie. There's
Yeah.
a girl that gets lost on
You're
the
right.
way.
Yeah. So she crawls out and she gets to a puddle, and there's a whole scene where Jason comes out and he stabs her in the puddle, and she tries to offer Jason money before she does get killed.
Yeah.
And after she dies, all her money that's in her hand flows out in the puddle, and there's cash and there's an American Express card. And apparently,
Good plug.
when this movie was shown back in the 80s, every time that scene happened, someone would yell out, "Don't leave home without it," because American Express.
Gotcha.
Man.
So that's what I was building
That was a
up
huge
to.
ass
Oh,
build up,
man.
dude. That was like 10 minutes
I liked
of the
it.
episode.
I had a good time.
You weren't even paying attention. You were on your computer.
Yeah, I'm doing
Looking
research.
up Universal Monster VHS.
Yeah, trying to find out how much you're going to spend on these stupid VHS.
I can get them
tapes.
all for you.
So the daughter of the sheriff shows up to the station complaining that, hey, I think our friends are lost. And this is when we kind of meet all the side characters
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah.
I don't even know their names.
Just about every movie. I couldn't even tell you who any of their names are.
You never can. So we meet like the group, and right away Megan is kind of hitting it off with Tommy. And there's actually a pretty good line right after this scene is when they have the gravedigger, I guess he is.
The
I don't want to say caretaker, is that right?
The crypt keeper.
Yeah, the crypt keeper. That's it. So he finds out that Jason's big dug up. And when he finds out, he looks at the camera and he's like, man, some folks have a strange idea of entertainment. And he like locks eyes and
I hate
Yeah.
whenever
Really?
they break.
I thought it was funny.
Fourth wall.
Yeah, he does it a couple times. This caretaker does.
Does caretaker get killed in this movie?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, when he's out there drinking by the
Oh, he totally does. Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, there's this like random I think it was added in, but the caretaker wasn't supposed to be killed, and neither was that couple that's with him coming up in a couple scenes.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was added in because like nobody
It was like lacking in the death department.
Yeah, because like up at that point it'd been like what
The
I don't
friend.
know.
Yeah.
I was gonna say like a 10-minute gap between people dying. It's a really honestly, it's the only bad part of this whole movie.
Which one?
The couple on the moped.
Oh, right. Yeah. Okay.
The couple on the moped and the groundskeeper dying.
Is it double decapitated or?
No, I think they both get the spear through.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
It's weird because that scene, when we get to it, it reminds me of obviously Jason Lives, the Blob remake, and Killer Clowns from Outer Space.
Just like the
Yeah.
feeling or whatever.
Well, because like the older guy and like looking for his dog.
oh right,
next scene,
yeah,
isn't it?
yeah.
No.
The homeless guy in Blob or whatever. Just kind
Yeah.
of like
And him walking around.
one off side, like has no bearings in the story. You could have left
Nope.
them out and it would have been fine.
Yeah, they all kind of go together. But after this scene, when he says this line, there's this one cool shot that I don't remember until I had recently watched it. Is Jason just going through the woods, just like barreling,
stomping,
through the
like
woods. It's really cool,
Yeah, it's
man.
cool.
It was a really
That was the best
cool
part
scene.
of the that was the best part of that video game is when you're playing as counselors and you could just hear the thud of the
Oh,
footsteps
my-
like charging.
we talked about the game on the
Yeah, we
podcast,
did.
right?
Yeah,
We did a
an
whole
episode.
Have you
episode
guys
on it,
have you guys played it since?
I played it about a
No.
week ago.
Did you?
It still holds up, man.
They still do people still play it?
yeah,
Or?
totally.
Wow.
And you can play it offline too.
I stopped playing because everybody kept screwing with me.
Oh yeah.
They
Like-
fixed a lot of it.
Yeah,
though.
because you get stuck in a cabin with somebody that would just like that
Alert.
wasn't Jason, that was just killing everybody. And you're
Yeah,
like, this sucks.
Yeah, well, I mean, we talked about on the podcast, but I think that they had introduced like a penalization for people that were shooting
right, yeah.
the other if you're a counselor shooting other counselors,
Yeah.
with flare gun or hitting them, they would penalize them.
Dude, that game was so suspenseful though. Like when we would all play
yeah.
as a group, it was like terrifying.
What the hell is that? Like you'd find like a dead body and
Yeah, because every time your counselor would just get real like stiff
Yeah.
or whatever, wouldn't move. You couldn't move him or anything.
it still holds up though. I'm telling you.
Nice.
So this next scene is the paintball tournament.
With 5 people that attended this tournament.
Clearly. So there's this guy. Okay, so you got like, man, it's such a weird scene.
There's
It's
three.
so out
there's
of
one.
place
There's one guy with a machete who's cutting through the trees
and he's upset about something.
Yeah, I don't really know. These are just side
characters.
Yeah, they're just meat or whatever bodies for the movie.
Yeah.
And then you have 3 other people who get the double decapitated. Because the first guy is where Jason gets the machete because he's cutting through. He kills him, gets the machete. Then you have 3 people who are there hanging out. And it's like the girl is awesome at paintball, gets both of them out and everything.
Yeah.
And then Jason just pops out of nowhere and gets like a triple decapitation.
Yep.
And then there's the goofy glasses nerdling.
That's like running around.
Yeah, and he sees the 3 coworkers or friends get killed, and he starts running off, screaming for help. And I can't remember. Does he ends up dying? Right.
One of them, I think he's the one that gets the smiley face in the tree. isn't
Right.
it?
Yeah.
No. He's the one
the
who-
machete guy.
The machete guy does.
He gets
because he gets his
slammed into
arm
the-
Which
ripped
I think
off.
I don't like that joke. I think
Yeah.
that's dumb.
He gets basically just thrown full speed into a tree, and then creates a smiley face
Yeah.
into the. Gotcha.
But the
Well, no, he doesn't create it. It's already there.
no, it's not his
no,
face.
No, he doesn't create it. It's already there. I know because I was confused by this. They forever watching it. Somebody carved a smiley face into the tree.
it just happened that he
he
put
just
blood.
happens to hit that spot.
That makes sense.
Are you sure?
Yeah, his face doesn't make a smiley. That would be stupid.
That'd be
I
really
think
stupid.
that's what the joke is.
No,
I think that's what the
that
joke
wouldn't make any
is.
sense. Like, how the hell would that happen?
I don't know. That's the joke. I'm pretty sure
it's the
Matt,
same thing in like Naked Gun when Leslie Nielsen go through a wall and it's like a cartoon like
Yeah.
wall or whatever. Oh,
That's
Or-
what it is.
or,
For
Matt,
I think you're getting this
Matt,
mixed up.
No,
with, no,
I
think
bet
you're
you
getting-
$10.
You know what?
I bet you $10.
Sure.
That the joke is.
I bet you Taco Bell.
Okay.
Right after
I
this
could
episode.
see. I'm like with Matt, but I could also see with at this point in the movie with the breaking the
humor?
breaking the fourth wall, and then all the goofy stuff. I could see it being that the guy's face creates a smiley.
It does.
Face.
No,
they never
no.
established.
You know what you're thinking of?
What,
Forrest
Matt?
Gump.
I was actually gonna say, is it
No,
like the
I'm not
Yeah,
thinking
you
of
are.
Forrest
Where
Gump.
they give him the muddy T-shirt and
Yeah.
he wipes his
Yeah,
face
I know
off in
the
it.
I know the joke, and
And he's like,
everything.
shit happens.
Shit happens.
That doesn't.
It happens.
Sometimes
I got shit on my face, and he's like, "Oh, sometimes." He's like,
is
"Yeah."
Is that's a line from Speed, right? I got shit in my face.
I got shit on my face. And Forrest Gump, remember that scene?
No, they don't establish there's a smiley face there, so his face is making the smiley face.
Interesting.
That is the whole joke.
No, it's not.
Matt, I promise you, dude, that's exactly what
Hanto's
it
gonna
is.
attempt to look this up on
What are
the
you gonna
internet.
search up? Hey Alexa, in
Hey, guess what? I just found it.
I know, but I don't know what you're looking up.
Hey Alexa.
Oh, he's playing the scene. Hold on, we'll let him watch the scene.
Oh, okay. I thought you literally typed that in. Like, is the smiley face really there? Does his face make the smiley face?
Calm down, guys. Learn to look up stuff.
I'm watching. You watch the video through my Independence Day poster. So, all right, he throws him in, and it makes the smiley face. That is the joke.
No.
Yep, Hanto's nodding.
No,
That's the joke.
No, it isn't. Watch it again.
Okay.
How many times is he gonna watch this? Go ahead, Matt. Watch the way he throws his face into it. That's the joke.
the thing is not there before.
Yeah, it's
face.
totally
Yeah,
not
I know,
there.
but it's like perfectly carved out. It doesn't make any sense.
That's
There'd be
the
bark
joke.
there.
I think that's the joke, is that his face creates a smiley
It's a
face.
stupid
No,
joke.
it's not.
Yes,
Yes,
it is.
Do you see this? Do you see this tree right here? Look at this tree.
I know, but that could have been like a
Listeners, I'm going to include screen grabs and post them on the Facebook post.
No, I understand it. It's not
Good
there
call.
on the tree previous, but it could have just been a blooper.
Okay, well, whatever. I'm on the side that it creates the face
you.
on the tree.
Thank
That's stupid.
Two against one,
exactly.
Matt.
Where's the bark?
Two against one, get
but
out of here.
There's no bark on the tree.
Cool. Good job, Sherlock Holmes. You did it. Crack the case.
Man, you
say
guys, maybe you guys.
Sherlock Holmes.
That's my sci-fi version of Sherlock.
2020.
Sherlock.
Sherlock Holmes 2020.
My great ancestor, Sherlock.
Or
My
that's
name
not,
is Sherlock.
that's not enough. That's not enough big of a time gap into the future.
I don't even know what we're talking
Sounds like a
about
90s
anymore.
show, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's like this. There was a futuristic Sherlock Holmes cartoon on Fox.
Oh, was there?
Yeah, called Sherlock.
No, it wasn't.
Sherlock.
Oh my god,
man.
I'm done with this. So the sheriff makes Tommy leave, and they follow him out of town. But Tommy takes a quick detour to the graveyard, and he ends up getting
dips
tackled.
out, yeah.
he ends up getting tackled by the sheriff, and they give him a lot of chances to get out of there, and they end up taking him to the city line. And
They pull a Rambo here, where it's like taking him out of the
Oh,
town.
totally is.
Escorting
Yeah.
him out of
Oh,
town,
yeah.
and then
Good call. And so they take him to the city line, like, look, you need to leave. And then it cuts to the gravedigger
gravedigger,
again.
yeah.
And he's sitting there and he makes some joke and he looks at the camera again. And he's like, what do I look like? A fart head? And as soon as he says it, it cuts to all the kids at the camp.
Yeah.
And you're like, yeah.
Yeah, this is pretty good.
I think it's a pretty good
I
joke.
like it. Oh, by the way, this is the only Friday the 13th movie that features kids.
I was about to say, I think this is the first one. Yeah,
This is
pretty
the
cool.
only one.
yeah.
There's no kids in any other movie.
Because the
except for
first
this one.
movies are them actually prepping for camp, so it's like
Yeah.
taking place before the kids actually arrive.
Yeah, 1 and 2 are that way for sure.
But then this one is definitely like
I think 3 is just a getaway. I don't even think they're counselors in 3.
I don't remember.
I honestly couldn't even
Are
tell
they?
you.
Oh, what'd you say?
Oh, I'm so confused. I just watched them all and I don't remember them.
That's sort of the thing with these movies, is they all kind of meld together.
They
They
do.
totally do.
I was gonna say if
I
any
can't
other
tell if that's a good thing or a bad thing.
dude, I can't think of any other series of movies that like blend together so well.
Yeah.
Where it's like I can watch all
So well or so bad?
so bad.
So bad.
Because like even the nightmares are like decipherable.
I would say
I think when you get
I
to the
can-
nightmares, 4 and 5 kind of blend in together.
Yes.
4 and 5 for sure, yeah. But
Same
they
with
could still it's
Halloween.
still a continuation though. I think it does
Yeah.
does better than Nightmare.
I
No, I
can't
agree.
tell you Halloween 4 and 5, like what's the differences between
I just
them.
know that 4 has the redneck band of shotgunners that
Yeah.
Oh,
end
for
up,
Halloween?
yeah, they end up
Yeah.
shooting Mike
I
Myers.
mean,
so-
yeah, because 4 is like, yeah, I can tell you the difference, but they're stupid differences. But yeah, they're basically they blend in together.
yeah.
But this scene is actually followed up. This is probably my favorite scene in the movie, and it's not that good, but I laughed really hard at it. One of the counselors, like the dude with the mullet,
Yeah, that court is it? I think it's
Is
like
that it?
one of the main one of
Yeah.
the main counselors.
he's got a bunch of rocks, and he's like, guys, let me tell you something about Native Americans. He's like, you guys probably don't know this. And he's like sitting there and he's like showing these rocks, and his delivery on this cracks me up.
Dude, I was one of my former jobs. I worked for the parks, and I had to do reenactment kind of stuff where I'd have to tell like historical
Oh my
facts
god,
about
I
the
don't
cabins.
think I can do that.
I know. I didn't think I could do it either.
Until
So, like these groups of like kids would come on field trips, and I would just make stuff up.
wow.
And like,
That's
it was
horrible. Wow. All these
Dude.
years after going on all these field trips, all these people that could have been telling us stories. could be-
Exactly.
These kids, though, that
Because,
you told
like,
these,
I know-
hold on. These kids you told these made up stories, they're gonna pass them along, dude. Tell me
This
when
is why we're so dumb in this country.
because of people like you.
Hold on.
Thanks,
I didn't
Matt.
even get the rest of my story out. I wouldn't make up all the stories. It was more like paraphrasing.
Okay.
Because it would be told to
Well,
me.
that's different.
It would be told to me, be told by somebody else. And I was like, I know this is bullshit.
Yeah.
And then like I would have to paraphrase it, like, and it'd
But
be
you're
like-
still telling the wrong story.
I'm majorly telling the wrong story.
You're
at
just
this point.
You're paraphrasing the wrong story.
Yeah.
To all
Especially when
these
you
kids.
throw like werewolves stuff in there and like, pioneer ages and stuff. It gets pretty like muddled.
Wow.
But every time I'd have to do it, I would think of this scene from this movie, where I'd be like, "Yeah, let me tell you something about rocks."
Yeah.
and then I'd be like,
So like
Nice.
maybe they leave some rocks here when I don't know, maybe when
kick, you like we want to see his dad again, just kick him over.
kick him down. Yeah.
Oh my god.
Dude, I do. I love this scene. But this scene is followed up with the one you were talking about with this like random couple that get engaged and they get like double stabbed on their scooter.
Right.
They're hanging out in the woods by a creek or something like that at night.
That's where they first met.
I know
is that-
exactly. I'll tell you exactly why this scene reminds me of The Blob. It's because they're sitting there they're having like a little picnic, and there's a scene in The Blob when they go to the movies, and they're watching a Friday the 13th, and it's this couple out in the woods, and they're like, isn't it a little early for hockey season? And it cuts to like this guy with a chainsaw. That's exactly what makes me.
Are they parodying? They're parodying.
Totally,
Okay,
100%, yeah.
Gotcha.
Dude, why don't we just release that Bob episode? I know it's sitting there.
We should re-record it. To be honest, I'd be down to re-record it.
Why don't we just release it?
No, we're gonna wait. We're gonna re-record the Blob.
It's not a good episode. Trust
Really?
me. Yeah, it's
Okay.
very bad.
We're gonna re-record it for next year when we do remakes.
That's the rumor going around right now.
Yeah, either that or King Month again, or
what month? Oh, King month.
another King Volume 2.
Oh, you mean like King Ralph month?
Yeah, King Ralph.
Yeah.
I would like. Yeah, I'll do that.
Yeah.
I was thinking about actually, I was thinking about today would have been a kind of a cool topic to cover.
What?
Is if we did like 4 major episodes on movie series, like horror movie series. So instead of covering like a single Omen movie, we just talk about the Omen movies.
Like an overview of the franchise.
Yeah, like franchise overview podcast. episode.
I've
bad,
never
yeah.
seen past the first one, so
Yeah.
I've
or
never
Child's
seen the first one.
the first one's actually pretty good.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it. Back to
Okay.
the movie.
Okay. So yeah, this couple gets killed, and at the same time, the cemetery man, he's drinking. He throws a bottle behind him. He ends up. Jason catches it.
Yeah.
He ends up dying as well. Next scene is something I don't know if it's real or not, but this one, I think it is real. This one girl shows the other counselor how to play Camp Blood.
It's almost
with
like
a deck of cards.
It's weird. It's almost like kind of like a social deduction game where it's like trying to find where Jason is in the cabin or something.
Yeah.
It's kind of like it's like a card game basically.
Is that okay?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like the Jack of Spades is Jason Voorhees, and then the rest, whatever. She didn't
This
really
is a
make
legit
it.
card game, though,
That's
right?
what I was saying.
Isn't
Yeah.
it?
Oh, is
I
it?
think it's a real thing.
I want to say it's called The Killer.
Okay.
Like I've played a version of this and they called it The Killer.
They basically just have Jason as the killer, though.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think.
It's pretty cool. Yeah, I've never heard of it.
Now,
This is news to me.
play it.
this next scene might be the best scene in the movie. I feel like I say that with every scene.
Is this the RV?
This is the RV scene.
Okay.
So, two of the counselors are going out and they're having sex. And the entire time they're going at it, this girl's like, she's like, "Oh, you're the best."
You better hold it in until
Yeah.
the duration of the song.
Yeah, it's weird. 'Cause he's like, "How much longer?" And she says, 10 more
Yeah,
minutes.
the song is 10 minutes long. He's
Yeah.
like, "Ooh."
And he goes like, "Oh no!" And while they're going at it, the power gets pulled, and so they stop and they go outside, and then they end up freaking out and they end up leaving, and they think the battery is dead, and then it ends up starting, which
Yeah.
is kind of like a cool twist because like the car won't start, and she's like, "Here, do this," and it starts right away.
Yeah.
So they take off, and he is cruising, and she is flying
Dude,
everywhere in the
she
background.
did not
Yeah.
buckle that seatbelt. I mean, I don't think there's seatbelts in the RV, but yeah, she
Right,
does
yeah.
not care about her safety.
Dude, and it's awesome because the entire time he was driving, you could tell he was just ad-libbing, and he's like, "This is great. I'm having a really good time." And he's like, "This is the best thing in the world.
I'm doing it for a
This is
paycheck."
awesome. This is really great." He just says it over and over
Yeah.
as she's like flying around in the background.
Yeah.
And we find out that Jason is actually in the RV.
Yeah.
And he's in the bathroom, and he grabs the girl, pulls her in the bathroom, and it's kind of a cool little like what's the word, like tussle that they have in the bathroom because it's like an overhead shot.
Yeah.
And it's a pretty cool looking intense scene. And he ends up taking, well, while they're fighting, the driver dude goes, he's like, "What are you doing back there? You taking a dump?"
You taking a dump.
And he ends up throwing her face.
This is probably, I would say, an iconic death scene in the entire franchise
I
because
agree.
it's not a typical machete kill.
I agree. So yeah, he takes her face and he pushes it through like the RV to
He
like,
basically just smashes her head in, like presses it so hard it creates an implant, like
It's
face
kinda like-
implant.
remember this-
smiley face
Yeah,
implant?
It's a smiley face in the tree.
right.
See, that's why it wouldn't make any sense. Because like
Right.
wouldn't the mechanics of that wouldn't make
You're
sense. with the mechanics
overlooking
of
a
this.
movie that is 6 movies in at this point.
I know, but the making that never mind.
The
I'm
video
gonna-
does not
I'm not
lie.
going to get back into it.
That's
I'm not
fine.
gonna get
Yeah.
back into it.
Okay, we win. Cool. Thanks. Let's move on.
No, nobody won.
So when he pushes her face into it, it kind of reminds me of those. What are those like
Tinfoil,
Like
yeah,
Gak
like
or-
tinfoil?
yeah, like
Gak or
tinfoil.
whatever?
Good job, man.
No, not GAC guys. Stop. Remember back in like when you go to like the science store and
Yeah.
they have like that
the pins?
The pins, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And it would like create whatever form of your hand or your face.
You tried doing it with your face, and it like ends up leaving little marks all over your face.
Man,
Yeah.
this is
groundbreaking stuff.
groundbreaking podcast.
So she dies, and then the driver gets stabbed with a knife, and the RV flips while playing Alice Cooper, who, by the way, did 4 songs, I think, for this movie.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
The theme for the movie is The Man Behind the Mask.
Oh, okay.
And I was listening.
Behind the mask.
It's really
Good duet, guys.
yeah, it's good harmony.
I wish they would have done like a gnarly like car crash, like Death Proof, where they show like multiple takes and different angles of just Jason getting like super rocked, and because he's obviously just getting like absolutely thrashed as this thing's like tumbling throughout the road and everything.
So the trivia on this was the last thing that was shot for the movie because they were afraid that the stuntman was going to get hurt, so they figured they'd wait for like,
wait for him to possibly die.
We think you're gonna die, so we're gonna wait till the end
wait
of
till
it.
the end.
Thanks, guys. That's really nice of you.
And then what's cool because
is this stunt dangerous? Well, it's the last thing we're filming.
so yeah.
We'll find out, I guess.
So the RV flips and then it catches on fire while Jason's standing on top of it.
It's actually a cool shot.
It might be my favorite scene from any Friday the 13th movie.
It's a pretty cool shot.
It's
of
really it's an epic looking scene. So we come back to Tommy, who's talking to Megan, and they're like talking on the phone, and she's like, "Look, I'll come pick you up. I'll help you take care of this." She's like totally smitten with this guy. And while she's doing this, her dad is out finding like bodies left and right.
Bodies everywhere.
And then we got a lot going on right now because Jason is now at the camp and he's cutting the power out there. And I can't remember the girl's name. I called her 37 because she had the jersey on.
The girl that gets pulled out the window.
Yeah, that one. Yeah. Well, because she ends up pouring beer on like Jason's head out a window.
Yeah.
And then she ends up getting killed. Like at this part, it's just kind of whatever.
It just kind of flies by at this point now. Everyone's getting killed left and right.
And that's what I feel like. Even talking about these scenes in this movie, it's kind of like this happens.
Yeah,
that
I feel
happens.
like
this is like let's get to the point of the movie, you know.
Yeah. So let's get to the point of the podcast.
Dude, I can tell you're eager. What do you got?
Huh?
We got a cool car chase coming up. I like this car chase.
I know, but let's ask some questions here.
Ask a question.
Okay.
What's in trivia on this movie?
I know. I'm kind of going through the trivia a little bit.
Ask a question. Go.
Here's a fun little trivia.
No, you said question.
Oh, you want a question?
Yeah, go for it.
All right.
If you were Jason,
at this point, what do you guys think of the pacing in the movie?
It's flying
it's just
by.
cruising. It's just cruising USA over here.
Yeah. Do you feel though that how do you feel about like with Jason movies? Because I feel like with other like Michael Myers movies are always about like
the ambient.
suspension.
Yeah.
It's like building up to a suspense, right? And I feel like Nightmare on Elm Street's always about like building up to the nightmares.
It's like the mystery. How do we deal with this guy that's terrorizing us?
But like, there's like these like general pauses in those movies.
Yeah.
And I feel like with Friday the 13th movies, it's just kind of like
I think that's my biggest complaint
like
kill. That's my biggest complaint with this franchise is that it's always just jumping to next kill. Let's meet a new character that we've never seen before. They get killed real quick. All right, let's jump to the next scene where we have another group of counselors. Okay, a couple of them get killed. You know.
Yeah, there's more character building. I feel like in the Halloween films and the
for sure.
films.
Yeah, I would say so because you're only focusing on like a couple main characters, whereas like right off the bat in this movie, you get like almost 6 people introduced. In that you got Tommy Jarvis, who's obviously the main character. Then you have Megan, and then you have like her 4 or 5 friends. You get introduced to them real fast, and they die just as fast.
Yeah,
because you got Tommy, Megan, and her dad. I
Yeah.
feel like those are the 3 like guys.
Yeah.
Or like the 3 like main people of this. Yeah. And yeah, I never really thought about it that way because I always kind of thought like all 3 of those series were kind of like disposable.
I would say Nightmare has probably the most like character arcs. And
Yeah.
Because the only reason they
there's
have
like
character
literally like
arcs,
4 or 5 deaths per movie.
yeah, there's very
Sometimes.
small.
but the only reason Nightmare has character arc is because they set it up for how they're gonna die. Where like they'll have a character and they're like, "Oh man, I forgot my inhaler."
Yeah.
I'm like, "Oh, here's your inhaler." Like,
Yeah.
"Oh, you're gonna die."
Make sure you don't forget this coming up.
I
And
like
that's how
working
they're
out. Yeah, that's great. I know you like working out.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a fun fact.
I like how you're only talking about the fifth movie or fourth movie.
Fourth movie.
Yeah, fourth
Yeah.
one.
Yeah.
No, I feel like
This is totally like let's just introduce a bunch of camp counselors.
Yeah.
So we can just have them die fast.
what I enjoy about this Jason movie, other than the other ones, is that there is that build up there. There's characters that I genuinely do care about, and I have a good time watching. Mm-hmm. You know, even like some of the disposable ones, like the guy counselor who just got killed in the RV.
Yeah,
I liked him. He was fun.
They should have kept him around a little bit longer. I think.
Yeah. I'm not too crazy about the two girls. The other two counselor girls.
Yeah, the one that's like kind of like the nerdy girl, and then the one that's like the promiscuous, like the sporty.
They're just kind of boring. I don't think they do very much.
Yeah,
I agree.
Well, they don't really interact with any other characters other than the two of them, and they're only in it for a duration of like 5 minutes of this movie.
But I like Tommy Jarvis and the main girl.
Yeah.
Like I think they get in, like the chemistry between them is really
definitely
refreshing to watch.
I almost kind of wish they would have introduced Tommy Jarvis like right off the bat, maybe have like his sister in the first two movies or whatever. She gets killed, and then it's like introduce Tommy, and then we follow Tommy for some of these other
so like of the series, you mean?
Yeah.
Like, okay.
Yeah, like don't have him pop him, because this is already towards the end of the franchise, basically. Well, like the main timeline of the movies.
It's like as soon as they decide to build like some kind of emotional thread, it's like, okay, you're 3 movies in. Or this is the 4th movie.
Because this is the end of Tommy Jarvis's arc, basically.
I take it back. 5th movie. It'd probably be the 5th movie where like Tommy is introduced in the 4th one.
He's introduced in the 4th one,
but it's by the 5th one they realize like, hey, let's drag one of these characters off to the next movie.
Yeah,
yeah,
pretty much. But no, following this, they do have that car chase scene, which I think is pretty good. But it's weird because the entire time they're having this car chase,
like hide, and then
she's like, Tommy, put your head down so they can't see you. Like, it's pretty clear that they're going after you because Tommy's in your car.
Oh, I thought they were just going after him because she's speeding.
Oh no, they're good because they know Tommy's there.
They do. I thought it's because she was speeding.
What don't you understand about this movie?
I don't know. Why would she tell him to hide if?
Because she was going. There was a roadblock.
I think they're doing it for comedic relief that his face is in her crotch, dude.
No, I know, but I think it's because she's speeding.
Okay. No, she does like a total 180, does like a Tokyo drift. And
she does a 180, and it sends the cops to like.
It might be.
They do. Be right. She basically does a very bad job of concealing the fact that Tommy is in this car with her.
They don't know Tommy's in the car.
Yeah, but she gets pulled over anyway, so it's like, oh, looks like Tommy's here. You're both arrested.
Oh yeah, because she gets caught.
Yep, that was. She's trying to get away. Clip from the movie that we just played.
I just played an audio clip.
There is a pretty good one-liner because like his face is like buried between her legs.
Yeah.
And as she turns, she's like, "Oh, watch out! It's a hairy turn." And so there's a lot of like
they're doing like the really
these quips in here.
Yeah,
and it makes it for a fun movie because the rest of the movies after this don't have that fun behavior.
Yeah.
No,
but I would say the next movie with the teleconnect, that movie is super boring.
Yes,
that movie is, from what I've read and seen,
supposed to be Kerry versus Jason.
Well, I was gonna say it is heavily edited.
Yeah,
they took a lot.
The violence in it is intense.
The
edited stuff.
I was gonna ask,
the unedited stuff.
Was this movie heavily edited with the violence?
I don't. From what I've seen on the documentary, I don't think so.
The trivia thing on it was that they almost got a PG-13 rating.
Yeah, because this movie is pretty tame.
No, so they had to amp up the violence to be like, hey, this can't be PG-13. We've got to make this an R.
I would say, it's very tame in the violence, but I did think that there were certain scenes where they like just kind of hard cuts or choppily edits or choppily cuts to a different scene as soon as somebody gets killed. Like the sporty girl who gets pulled out of the window when he's like twists her head and like rips it off.
Yeah.
It like cuts right when he's ripping the head off. And then,
a lot of these movies are that way. They are heavily edited. Because like, take 3 seconds off that.
Because I did not know that's what
16 frames.
I didn't know that's what happens to her until it shortly cuts in and he's holding the head. I still thought the body was attached. But I think there's another counselor who sees her head like rolling around or something.
Okay.
So I was like, he ripped her head off? Like, I had no idea.
So
it's very quick.
Here's trivia for you because you brought up 7.
Okay,
so one of the actresses that's in this movie, Kerry Noonan.
Okay.
She's
Paula in this movie.
Yeah, she played Paula Mott.
The redhead?
I'm not sure which one that is. Hanti, you want to look that up real quick?
Hanti, go ahead and use that that machine you have that tells us about the future and the past.
Kerry Noonan, anyways, actress that was in this movie. She auditioned for a movie called Birthday Bash.
Okay.
And in it, there's a serial killer that's on the loose, and he's killing everybody at a camp. And she realized while in the audition, it's the redhead, by the way.
It is the redhead? Okay.
Yeah, she's like the nerdy.
The one that gets like, there's like blood all over the walls.
Yeah, like sprays in the window.
While in the audition and reading the screenplay, she realized it was actually Friday the 13th 7.
Oh, really?
And she was like, "Hey, I already did one of these. Like,
Oh, man.
I was in the last one."
Really?
Yeah. So the birthday bash title was actually a secret title for the movie,
Gotcha.
which kind of breaks the trend because a lot of the secret titles for these movies are David Bowie songs.
Oh,
Yeah.
really?
Yeah, like this one was Aladdin Sane,
Okay.
Okay.
which was like that was the secret title for this. I can't remember what the secret titles for the other ones were.
I can't, but I remember hearing that as well.
I want to say I think they only do it for like 3 and 4,
Okay.
and
But
they have
that
David Bowie titles.
I can't get over that. So she realized that.
Yeah, she realized by reading the script at the audition that it was Friday the 13th.
That's pretty
7, when she's like, "All right," she's like, "I can't do this. I was just in 6."
Dude, if I was her, I just would have went with it, not let them pay attention. And then when she showed up in the movie, and everyone was like, "Dude, she died in the last one," and then the producers were like, "Oh man,
Oh, I know. Can you imagine just doing it to like just screw some production
right?"
up?
And like, man, we should pay attention to our movies.
Yeah,
What a
that's
bummer.
the lead from our last movie.
I think is this a David Bowie song? They said it started with the part 3. They used Crystal Japan
Yeah.
as the title, and then for New Beginning they used Repetition.
Yeah, I think those are all. Yeah, those are all. David
So yeah,
Bowie
they used it
songs,
for
I think.
3, New Beginning, which is 5, and then they used it for 6 for Aladdin Sane.
Dude, I'll tell you what, the only David Bowie song they couldn't use for a fake title would
Lost
be
Highway?
Cat People.
Oh, Cat People.
Because people be like, "Oh, they're filming Cat People." I'm like, "No, it's a fake title." I'm
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Well, it says Cat People. So at this point, all the other counselors are dead, and Tommy ends up getting locked up again. And there's a whole scene. It's kind of a cute scene. It's where Tommy and Megan are trying to get Tommy out of the jail cell.
Right.
So Megan acts like she's drawing, and Tommy's like, "What do you got over there?"
Yeah.
And then she shows him, and he's like, "Oh, it stinks." And she gets upset, and she walks over to him, and he steals the pad of paper she's drawing on, and they
Right.
end up kissing, and you can tell they have a connection.
Yeah.
And one of the other sheriffs or the deputies, whatever,
It's the right hand man to the dad, basically, who
much.
has a laser pointer on his pistol.
oh yeah, because that joke will come into play.
Yeah.
So he comes over to break it up, and then Megan pulls out his gun and ends up getting Tommy out of jail.
Megan, what are you doing?
Megan,
I love the way Tommy Jarvis
Stop
talks in the movie.
clowning
quit
around.
clowning around. And when she says something about you're the one with the red dot on your
I'm
nose.
not the one
or
with
whatever.
the red dot on my, or she says the red nose, big red nose.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. So they end up getting Tommy out of jail.
Dude, I
And-
remember that, and I even watched this movie for the podcast.
You didn't?
No,
Dude, good for you.
I know. I've
man.
seen this movie a lot of times, so I was like, I'm going into this like
Dude, you
not watching this one and see if I can remember.
Dude,
most
you
of it.
fooled me, man, because it sounded like you had watched it recently.
Yeah, well, I'm not the one with the red dot on my nose.
Oh, cool. That came
Yeah.
out
Oh, nice,
flawlessly.
Dude, nice audio clip we just played just now.
So
Big
they
red
end up-
nose. I'm not the one with the big red nose.
So Tommy has this whole plan. He says the only way to stop Jason is to bury him in his original resting place, which this is, I mean, I know what this type of movie
To
is.
stop him, he's been stopped for like a good couple of years.
Well-
like, okay, what's the gap? He's been stopped for 6 years.
You did, yeah. And how does he know that that's where you're going to stop him? Like, go put him in that same
pond,
grave,
the
man.
pond.
You were good where he was
Earlier,
at.
you were punching him in the face.
Call in the army or something.
So-
So they do in the Jason Goes to Hell.
Oh, I think you're talking about Monster Squad.
Oh no.
The
so,
FBI.
Yeah, it is FBI.
Yeah, it's kind of honestly. I will
It's
say
the
that
best
about-
scene of that movie.
I will say that is a plus for that movie. That is an awesome.
It's kind
opening.
of like, all right, we've had enough with this guy. Let's
Yeah.
let's take this guy out.
It's kind of cool because it does throw you off, and you're just like, oh man, like they're
It was
gonna
a
start
sting
these off.
operation the
Yeah,
entire time.
It's cool. I like it.
So the cops send him
dig it.
going to the cabins, and there's blood everywhere, and then we get a lot of like cop deaths. There's like a cop gets a
multiple
dart
people.
thrown at him, which is a cool shot because the way the dart hits the cop and he flies back into
Is it a
canoe.
dart or a throwing knife?
I don't know. I have no idea.
I was always confused what it was because he takes it out of like a little pouch and he's like,
Yeah,
It's probably a knife because that's what he has in his little satchel.
probably.
yeah.
His Ghostbusters 2 belt?
Dude,
Yeah.
I didn't even talk about this. This
costume's
is also
pretty-
my
the
favorite.
costume's pretty cool in this movie.
Yeah, this is my favorite look for Jason. I really like the way he looks in 7.
I do not like. Is it? I think it's the next movie where he's got the chains and.
I love that.
He
He's
looks
a water
great in
water
7.
demon.
Yeah,
I see
he's
like
like
his
a
spine.
monster, dude.
Yeah,
he's
that's
he's
so
a
gross.
beast.
That's
That's
so
Kane,
gross.
Kane Hodder.
Kane
and-
Hodder.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like the way Kane Hodder plays him is really cool, but I really, really dig Jason's costume in this.
In this
like
one.
with the belt, the utility belt.
Because the whole gimmick for the costume is basically he just he acquires them over the course of the movie.
Yeah.
Well, specifically all from like the paintballing crew.
Like the workman gloves.
Wait, is that where that belt's from? Is the paintball crew?
Yeah, I think so. I'm
Yeah,
pretty sure
that's what I think it is.
You're right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, the cops go. All these cops end up getting killed. One of the guys' heads gets squished.
Oh, that's pretty good.
Yeah. And so then the main cop, Megan's dad, runs into Jason. And dude,
This guy gets it real
it's
good.
cool because he's like face to face with Jason, and the wind's blowing, and like the sheriff's hair is like blowing in the wind, and it's a really cool, epic scene.
Yes.
I really
And
like
honestly,
this.
that's the other. I was gonna say this as my other plus for this movie is that I love.
They stray away from the whole machete through the neck or something.
Well, no, I
Arrow.
think it's just like it's comedy, and then it's like this gothic look, and it's
Yeah.
awesome, and it's something that.
It's like a monster movie almost.
Yeah, and then the music is cool because they used Dyer's Irae. I can't remember if that's how you pronounce
told
it.
me this from The Shining.
Yeah, it's from The Shining uses it as well.
Okay.
And I thought you were talking about
I'm
The Shining.
pronouncing it wrong. I'm
You're good.
butchering it.
I thought you were talking about The Shining.
DIES.
Is it The Shining?
IRAE.
The Shining theme song?
Yeah.
Like the
burn.
I don't think it's in this. What
Yeah.
At what point is it in this movie?
I think it's the part where he's like marching somewhere. Like
oh, he's like actually marching. Like
Yeah, Dies Array. I think
Dies Array, I think
it
it's
says
yeah.
it was used in Shining a few years prior. So.
yeah, I don't
yeah,
think
there's another song they use, a classical music song that they do an
Huh.
interpretation of on this.
Nice.
The soundtrack's actually really cool. It's the one Harry Manfredini score that he strays away from like the normal.
Basically reusing the
Yeah.
same songs from the other movies.
Yeah, because you get to like 4, and 4 is just a compilation of like 1 and 2.
it definitely sounds different than the rest of them, for
Yeah.
sure.
But I know I love the gothic tones mixed in with the comedy, and like I just think this one's an awesome movie. It's a shame it came so late in the
That's what I
series.
mean. I think that's the biggest issue for me is like it comes way too late because the other movies that come before this are really just kind of they don't really stick out for me because they all kind of meld together.
I can imagine this movie being a lot bigger if this was in the place of number 5. I think 5 really screwed the series over.
5 is where at that point they don't really know what the hell they're doing with this franchise.
Yeah.
Yeah, the twist in 5 completely ruins the rest of the series.
Yeah.
If you don't make it past,
It's
that,
just a waste. It's just a wasted movie
It
essentially.
is. So after the sheriff ends up running out of bullets, he ends up hiding from Jason, and Megan and Tommy show up. And once the sheriff ends up hearing his daughter, he goes to attack Jason. And the sheriff's done this whole battle's been really cool up to this point because he's wasted all these bullets on him. Like it's a good fight.
He realizes too late what he's
Capable of.
Well, no, he realized too late that he should have believed Tommy. Like,
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he goes to fight Jason to protect his daughter, and then he ends up getting bent in half.
which one is better? This kill, the bent backwards, or the Blob remake? Because I haven't said one of the main sheriffs in that movie.
Is that? I'm trying to think how it happens in the Blob.
It's when they're all holed up in the library at the end. It's like the climactic battle with the Blob, and they're like barricading the doors, and they put up a bookcase. I think it's the guy from RoboCop, the guy that turns into the melting guy.
Yeah.
I think he's like trying to push it up, and the Blob grabs him and basically pulls him through.
I think it's
The
better than the
bookcase.
Blob. I think I remember
Blob
being
is
pretty
gnarly.
intense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It kind of happens out of nowhere, which is great.
I would actually like to do another episode of that movie and talk
We
about
should
it. Yeah.
redo it.
I think this is the best death in this movie, though.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, this is good.
And it's about a character. So he might be the only character development because he starts off, he hates Tommy. He's kind of a jerk, but he's protecting his daughter. And then by the end of the movie, he's still protecting his daughter, and he's this good father, and he ends up dying. And you actually kind of care about this guy.
Yeah,
As
totally.
opposed to all these other characters. But there's a good one-liner coming up when we have like all the little kids in the camp are hiding at this point, and one of the kids talks to the other kid and he goes, "So, what were you going to be when you grew up?"
Oh my
Yeah,
god,
it's
awesome.
Yeah, that's actually no joke. That's probably like what were your last wishes?
Yeah, what were you going to be when you grew up? Like they know like this is the end.
God.
Yeah, I love that.
So this is like our epic conclusion because Tommy takes off in one of the boats. And oh man, this is probably the coolest shot of the movie.
With somebody's like address boulder, You know what I'm talking about?
I know.
Those
Yeah.
people who put like their addresses on the front of their house, like those giant boulders.
Put it on the
like,
corner of the cul-de-sac or whatever.
Yeah.
This is my house.
But
Don't run your car into it.
Yeah.
they cut to Jason breaking through a door in the cabin, and like the door shatters everywhere, and it's such
Yeah,
a
it's pretty
cool
cool.
shot, man. This really is the movie where they
Yeah.
figure out who Jason is.
Yeah. He
for the
falls
rest
through
of the
walls
series.
and everything. He's like
Too
walking.
damn late.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
too
The
damn
look on
late.
your face is like you could have done so much more.
Because it's like, it's an awesome movie, man, and it's just like if 5 didn't exist. But I tell you what, if I would have saw these in sequence, like in the theater,
Seeing it unfold like that.
yeah, and be like, man, 5 sucked. You guys better really surprise me with 6. I'd probably be like, this is great.
You did it.
Shut up, dude.
Yeah, this is awesome.
Jason ends up getting a hold of Megan, and he ends up squeezing her head, and you actually
he's about
kind
to
of
get
feel like Megan.
the death
Yeah.
squash.
Well, Megan's actually. It looks like she could actually die right here because he just killed a cop the same
About the
way.
Game of Thrones or
Oh my gosh.
The only scene I've seen from that show. I know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, it's gnarly.
So you think Megan's gonna die, and then Tommy's like,
Hey, maggot face.
Hey, I'm over here. What are you waiting for? Come over here.
I'm right here. Kill me. Do it now.
so Tommy's in the boat and he takes off with the boulder. Jason goes after Tommy.
I like this because he starts backtracking the other direction towards I think Megan and the kids again once they like making noise.
Yeah.
And to get it, he's like, hey, Jason, you pussy, I'm right here. What are you waiting for?
Yeah.
It's like I think it's totally awesome when somebody calls like a killer like a pussy or whatever.
Yeah.
It's just like
I think
Like, come
this
on,
would be
dude.
terrifying though. Like
Oh,
when
yeah.
he's in the boat and right when Jason like basically like submerges.
yeah.
And just can you imagine being on that boat and you're just like,
Oh man.
like, I can't see him
I
anymore.
would been like, I messed up.
Well, it's cool because he ends up taking gasoline, pouring it around the boat, lighting it, and I guess I don't know what's the point of the flame.
Make it look more
Make it look
climatic.
really cool.
so the
Climatic.
cinematographer has something to work with.
Yeah, so it's not all at night and dark.
It looks really cool.
It
Yeah,
does
for
look
sure.
cool.
So Jason bursts onto the boat from underwater, and Tommy takes a chain and he wraps it around Jason's neck, or he tries to, because the boat ends up breaking and they both go
Oh
down.
no, it was his penis. Yeah, it just drags him to the bottom of Crystal Lake.
Oh, so you put the chain around.
All 500 pounds of that boulder. Some say he's still falling now today.
To this day.
It's the only thing Jason says throughout this whole series.
There is a cool. They made a little like toy for a fish tank where it's Jason
That's
with
cool.
a rock.
Oh, that's
Have
cool.
you seen that?
No.
It's awesome.
That's
man.
really
It's
neat.
like the rock and it's just Jason floating.
Dude, I'd buy it and I'd have to buy fish.
Yeah, and a fish tank.
That's true.
You could get really pricey.
So they go to the bottom of the lake and they kind of fight, and Tommy ends up getting choked out, and you think he's dead. We'll see. And so Jason's like at the bottom now. So Megan, I really like Megan's reaction to all this going on.
Yeah.
Because she's standing on shore just watching.
Does
it.
she know her
She's-
dad's dead?
I don't think so.
I don't know.
I don't think she does. But she's
remember.
got like tears in her eyes, like the wind's blowing. It's a really cool looking
Yeah.
shot. This whole ending is so epic. And so she decides that she's going to go help out. So she runs to him and she jumps in. She gets grabbed by Jason, but she turns on the propeller to the boat and ends up cutting Jason's neck. Which I'm watching the entire time. I'm like, why did she just cut his head off? And I'm like,
Yeah.
because there'd be no sequel. And they end up like snapping his neck because you hear like the snap of it
Yeah.
through the film. She gets Tommy out and they give him CPR, and then they have like this like nice moment where they hold each other. And then the film ends with like the next day, Jason's floating underwater, his eyes open, and we cut to Alice Cooper, who did a lot of songs for this movie.
Did you guys see that story recently where it's this lake, I think in Colorado, where somebody put a life-size Jason strapped to a chain at the bottom of it?
Oh yeah, that sounds familiar.
Yeah, and like scuba divers can go down there and
That's
see it.
pretty gnarly. That's awesome.
But they were going to like, I think at first the park was like trying to get them to remove it. Like whoever put it there to remove it.
Yeah.
But I think it became such a tourist attraction. They're like, yeah,
Oh
just
yeah,
leave it.
dude. That's awesome.
Yeah,
That's really neat. So that's Jason Lives, Friday 6. Honto, letter grade. What do you give it?
I give it a C plus.
Okay. Matt, what do you give it?
I give this an A, man. I really, really like this movie. And
Yeah.
I think I will really, really like it for the rest of my life.
Same. I feel like
life.
it won't be the last time I watch it. I'd probably give it a B minus.
I mean,
think
I'll probably
it's
end up.
above
I've
a
watched
B.
these movies a bunch of times, but again, it's like they are so similar in story and theme and whatever that I can't. It's hard to distinguish which story is what.
See, I feel like this one's different as far as like the tone and the humor.
Yeah.
And like the story is engaging.
I will say this is probably the most rewatchable out of the books.
Yes,
Yeah.
and like everyone's always like 4. 4 is the best one. A lot of people.
That was
argue
pretty good.
that.
I think
4
it's
is
pretty
really
I
good.
think it's
Yeah,
pretty
4 is really good, but 4 is kind of forgettable. Like I can't, outside of the Corey Feldman stuff, I can't really tell you what happens in 4.
That's not. Yeah. Okay. Gotcha.
Like compared to this one, where I can sit here and like I didn't even watch this movie for the podcast, and I could tell you what happened.
Well, you got 4. If you want some good moments from 4, you got Crispin Glover.
oh, is that the 4?
Ted, the corkscrew.
Ted!
Ted, the corkscrew.
Is that 4?
Yeah, that's 4.
I thought that was like 3 or.
I thought that was 3.
No, that's 4. Crispin Glover's in 4.
Ted's where the corkscrew.
And then the girl from Weird Science
I'm
is in
never
4.
mind.
Yeah, we're
the
gonna
one F-bomb I was going to use.
the computer that he uses. It says I'm
We're
a
all-
I'm a
viewers-
dead. Oh yeah, I know exactly. What you're
Viewers,
talking
we're only allowed to. Our new rules that we're only allowed to use one F word
I already used it.
per episode. And
about. We're just
Hot's
trying
already
to
used
just
it.
trying to watch it for the
Would
kids.
you use it
I used it earlier.
on what? What did you waste it on?
I wasted on something. I can't remember.
What?
It just came out. I could censor it. If we could still
He
use
was like,
it.
he said, "Welcome to the effing podcast."
Wasted.
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 So that's Jason Lives. I love this movie, and I'm glad we really did it.
I love it. He loves it so much, you'd give it a 65 on Rotten Tomatoes.
Whatever.
My
What
F
a
grade.
wiener.
My F grade. I love this movie. It's an F.
I take it back. I give it a 70.
Oh man!
But my grade would be a B minus.
what?
Yeah, see, yeah, I think he deserves like a. It's like a high C plus for me.
What did you get in school?
Yes.
exactly?
Yes. So join us next week because we are going to cover the 3rd chapter in the Scream series because we like talking about these movies. We really enjoy talking
Yeah,
about
we're
them.
But we're not going to ever do 4.
Yeah, we will. Why would we do
We got
3
to
or
round it out,
4?
dude.
Yeah.
We got to round it out.
Yeah, we rounded out with 3.
Dude, 4...
4 is like the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull of the Scream series.
And dude, I want you to know 4 is not as bad as you remember it.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
terrible.
A lot of people say 4 is a lot better than 3.
We'll talk about it on the episode. We have to
Yeah.
end this episode now because our pizza's done.
That's
Well,
true.
Matt's hungry. He's about to pass
Matt's
out.
so hungry.
because it's 9 o'clock at night. I want to eat dinner.
well, he
That's
doesn't
true.
know how to eat dinner, so.
So yeah, please rate it and review us on any social media platforms. We really appreciate it. Continue to listen to us throughout October as we do nothing but horror movie coverage. I'm Chris,
I'm Matt.
And I am Honto.
and we'll see you next time.